Here we are, sitting mid-March 2026. Endless amount of turmoil going on in the world. It could literally throw a dart at a map, and there's some kind of unsettling activity going on. Chris Kilford, you and I have chatted about these things through a variety of venues for some time now.
Hmm.
And specifically today, we're going to talk about an extraordinary event on April 10th that is being hosted by the Canadian International Council. It's called Couchiching 2026, I guess. And it is all about discussing the turmoil that's going on in the world, but more specifically, Canada's role in this turmoil. What is our positioning? What is our policy? Where do we stand? A lot of confusion, a lot of anxiety. Tell me more about this as you are the lead
Hmm.
organizer for the Victoria branch of the Canadian International Council.
Yeah, thank you, John. We are getting really cranked up now because 10 April is around the corner for us, and we do have this day-long conference planned. Well, not planned; it's ready to go at UVic on the 10th of April, and we're supported by the Center for Global Studies at the University of Victoria and also the Konrad Adenauer Foundation, and we've also got some really good, really wonderful sponsors also that have come in behind us to make this happen. It's a conference for about 200 people, and we're fast approaching that number.
Yes, yes,
And
buy tickets today.
yes, a lot of students taking part. And the idea is to sort of divide the day into two main panels with some other things thrown in as well. But the first panel is going to sort of ask the question about, how can Canada prepare itself for this new international order that we seem to have taking shape. And then the second
And
panel is,
integral to taking shape. Canada is
yeah.
positioned currently as being integral to defining what that means, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I think that's true, and I think what will come out of that panel is a better understanding of who we are. I mean, we have the 10th largest economy in the world. We are a major defense spender even before we started, determining we needed to do more, and we're a top energy supplier. And I think taking stock of who we are is incredibly important. And then moving on to ask ourselves, as that middle power, more than a middle power, many will argue, how do we take on a bigger leadership role around the world? Actually, I've got to say that's tough to answer at times. I mean, we are obviously taking on a huge leadership role when it comes to supporting Ukraine, but on the case of Iran, we're very much on the sidelines. We may get a little bit more involved in the Strait of Hormuz. Hormuz, it's hard to say, but we're basically on the sidelines there. So at times, you ask yourself, what role can you play? And I think though it's good to sit back and talk about these things, because these issues, these conflicts are coming up all the time. It's almost like an international whack-a-mole in some respects. You deal with one and another one happens, and so you've got to think about who you are as a country. And down the road, I would say down the road, it's probably time we sat down and wrote a new national security policy or strategy. Not that we don't have strategies that we look to, but we haven't had a national security policy slash strategy written in this country since 2004 in the aftermath of 9/11. And so we need to address these things. And I think the conference will um, lead to a lot of activity afterwards. Some events that will run here in Victoria and across the country, products that will come out, reports, etc. So, we hope to drive a lot of things that are going on and
That's
happening.
it. That's exemplary leadership. I mean, these kind of policies that you've indicated we really need to focus on and settle
Mm.
on as best we can. Every country in the world is probably saying the same thing because of the way things are changing so rapidly and
Mm.
so without with on somebody's whim, who wears a lot of makeup every day. Whatever he thinks and writes and feels is impacting global policy. So to have some sort of framework by which to operate from would be really helpful. And that's what we're going to be discussing in
Mm,
and around that on April 10th. So
mm.
there's three sections. There's a morning panel group, a lead speaker at lunch, and then there's also panel discussions in the afternoon. Are you able to say or indicate some of the speakers, Chris?
Yeah, for sure. We're delighted to have the Polish Consul General coming from Vancouver, and
Mhm.
also the Director General of the Taiwan Economic and Cultural Office, also coming from Vancouver. Dr. John Curtin is coming from Toronto. We are relying on some of our fantastic top local speakers, Jody Thomas, the former National Security Advisor to Prime Minister Trudeau, um, retired Major General Mike St. Louis, just out of Washington, where he was in our embassy as our top military representative. The author and journalist Jonathan Manthorpe. These, just to name a few
Mhm.
of the panel members that we are bringing in for this event. We've also got Melanie Walker coming in, our CIC National Executive Director, coming in from Toronto to be at the conference. And it's a great opportunity to also hear from her and what our whole national organization is actually doing, because we're not just based in Victoria. We have branches from Whitehorse to St. John's that work very hard to inform Canadians about what's happening in the world, and it's so important. More so than ever, I suspect, from what we do see across the border and what we also see globally. I mean, the Middle East is on fire. I mean, this is the thing. The consequences have yet to be seen
Exactly.
from that engagement and will
Yes.
be with us for a long time. So look, and I'll just finish by, to finish this part anyway by saying from what when I'm speaking, and I spoke on Friday here in Victoria about the defense industrial strategy, Canada's defense industrial strategy. I mean, lots of people are very, very, very concerned about what's happening, and they want to talk about these issues. And so anytime we can bring together a large group with a lot of folks that do have an intimate knowledge of global issues, I think it's really important. So I encourage everybody to join us on the 10th of April. You don't get these opportunities all the time. Most of the time, these big conferences take place in Ottawa or Toronto,
Right.
and
That's
and
right.
here we are. We're
Yeah.
doing it here in Victoria.
And the tickets are selling quickly, so please grab your ticket.
Hmm.
There'll be obviously references to them in the details on the screen. Uh, and the kind of leadership and innovation and courage that you're demonstrating, that this conference is demonstrating and
Hmm.
reflecting, is
Hmm.
also something that might and should be an appeal to a business who would like to sponsor some of the coffee, goodies, lunches, breaks. This is something. This is something a business can reach 200 folks that are keenly interested in these issues. Therefore, community leaders,
Hmm.
community business leaders, academic leaders. These are prime targets, so to speak, for companies to reach from a fundraising perspective. So reach out to us if you'd like your name in and amongst this extraordinary event. Chris, thank you. I think we should do another update closer to the day. I'm
Yeah.
convinced that we're going to say that the seats are sold out. So buy your tickets today.
Yeah, yeah, I think we will. And I think for those that are interested in being a part of what we do, it's also good to know that just here on Vancouver Island, we have almost 800 members in the Canadian International Council, all the
Mhm.
way from, Victoria all the way up to Comox, two branches of the CIC right here on Vancouver Island, made up of people from all walks of life, but many that are still consulting, influencing, and having a global reach. And I think that's for anyone going forward, anybody wanting to work with us, this isn't just a one-day deal. This is something that we can move forward together, especially when it comes to also helping the younger people at our universities. And
Mhm.
heavens knows we also have some high school students in our branch. But this is about preparing the next generations for what they're going to face. So I think it's really important.
Chris, thank you for this time. Thank you for generating this excitement. Thanks for your commitment to Canada. We'll talk soon.